Good, thank you. We're just doing some reading. Yeah, I think we've tried to explain that to people the best we can. And we make these videos and put them out on usually Facebook, different social media. It's a communication tool a lot of people use over the decades in different situations and environments, especially in communities like this where there's a lot of trafficking and drugs, people being trafficked, other misdemeanors and crimes, a lot of childish beliefs, people being gaslit, a lot of things being ignored. And how and why that has been ignored over the years is something else they should talk about too, but who knows? All we can do is hope and pray. Yeah, it's scary actually too, and how they've tried to cut even those lines of communications from some people in really scary, horrible situations. It's disgusting. Yeah, we're going to read, someone wanted me to start it from the beginning, The Meaning of Man. It is a really good book. I can start with the preface. Just a few minutes here, we're getting ready to make some tofu, some baked tofu. Goes very good with the wild rice. This was written in 1948 by Sheldon Ward. Yeah, when you start getting into the intricacies and all the crossed wires and he said, she says, investigations, ideologies, groups, activist groups, there's been so much BS over the years. It's been really scary to us, and seeing really good people take themselves out, others out, people's kids out. It's really fucking disturbing. And it seems like for a while people have been supporting a lot of the druggies and Tammy Faye Bakers and transgender type things. A lot of the different activist, political stuff, things that really don't pertain to people, I guess, in the public sphere. We call it the real world. We know it's different, I guess, to other people who don't mingle in the public sectors or would even think about it. It's okay. We know and we understand. We're just trying to bring kind of common ground and understanding and help those systems that have been flooded with political bullshit and ignorance. A lot of childish stuff. It's so scary and sad to so many of us. The psychological torture and damage that has been done to so many families and people and kids, and many still waking up to it. Yeah, so we're hoping the love and forgiveness and understanding will help too. Yeah, many are sick. They've been injected with those vaccines. It's horrible. But like they said, let it not be in vain. And they're learning a lot from it, and it's actually proving how dangerous and horrible a lot of those things are, and how easily many people will just line up for it and not question it and just allow those things to be done to babies and everything. It's horrible. But we're learning. As they say, we live and learn. Do you think so? No, they don't feel too tight. Thank you, though. Okay, preface. This book makes no pretense to be anything more than a witness. It is impossible to try to live by Christian truth, to think it and to teach it without being profoundly struck, not only by the treasures of divine wisdom it contains, but also its internal coherence, its explanatory potency, above all by its profound humanity. Yet we live in the midst of a world persuaded that Christianity is a doctrine alien to man and his genuine problems, unveiling in the face of his tragic condition and careless alike of his misery and greatness. The pages that follow may serve to show, on the contrary, that the Christian mystery is filled with a murmur of divine friendship for man, that it is able to explain both his misery and his greatness, that it has power to bind up his wounds, and by divinishing to save him. Here then we shall try to elucidate the meaning of man for the Christian according to the simplest of plans. 2 chapters, which may serve as a kind of introduction, define man's place among temporal values and in the bosom of the mysterious universe in which he plays a part. Oh, you were learning about the word Christian, to be christened. Yeah, it is an interesting origin word, and to kind of dissect what that means on a kind of biological level, body, mind, soul type stuff. The simplicity is really beautiful. How some people take it to extremes and ostracize others and torment humanity. It's horrible what's been happening. And the wasted money. All the greenhouses that could have built. I know. 3 chapters follow on the human body. This body of ours, which Christianity is so freely accused of slighting, anathemizing, and persecuting. 5 chapters next on the spiritual values, the person, liberty, love, which give man his unique dignity, and which, according to the respect or indifference in which they are held, condition the very existence of a civilization. These are so many problems among others, and we are well aware of the incomplete character of this sketch. The questions in particular which concern the holy and the community, though lightly touched on here and there, have not been taken up for themselves. The questions treated bear at any rate on the crucial points, that is to say, on those essential values which, in organic interconnection, solicit man on each of the main levels of his being. How are these values rooted in Christian thought? How do they fare there? That is what we propose to discuss. Thus, the book is a long theological reflection. It was not written primarily for specialists. For the most part, these studies were conferences before being thought out afresh to go to the making of a book. Save only for the chapter on the person, the notes, here collected and at the end of the volume, attempt no justification for these advanced. They are simply references, pointers, invitations occasionally for those who might like to control the work or follow it up. If, nevertheless, the theologians consent to pursue these pages, they will encounter, we hope, at every turn, their own familiar thoughts. Our originality, if it exists, consists entirely in this twofold effort, which is quite conscious on our part, to explore on certain capital points the concrete paradox of a being nobly fashioned in his creation, miserable in his fall, and become more admirable than ever in his redemption. A thing which is not to be done without some regrouping of the themes, and to carry this out, not only by availing ourselves of the resources of the classical theology, but by returning deliberately to the source, by broadening piously over the living waters, and let us say it without metaphor,
by allowing ourselves to be penetrated and carried away by the major themes of the Word of God. As for others, Christians bent on a better understanding of their Christian life, even unbelievers who might wish to know something about it, we hope they will find here some few good reasons, the more for pride in their Catholic faith, or at least for holding it in sympathetic respect. Much has been written in recent years on the Much has been written in recent years on the subject of Christian humanism. I think it's all the extra honey I put in my tea. Yeah. We shall make no attempt to reopen the theoretical debate, nor to go over the ground covered in such fine works as Humanisme Crétin of Canon Majeur, or Humanisme Integral of Maritain, True Humanism in the English translation. We have simply wished to show that certain essential human values have already, in point of fact, been set in their true place and magnificently appreciated and saved by Christianity. Pray God that our wishes may not be unworthy of so great a theme. That was a nice preface. Then it goes into contents, how the Christian sees the temporal, how the Christian sees the universe, carnal values, misery of the body, redemption of the body, spiritual values, paradoxes of the person. I can post those pages. I gotta drink some water, that honey, and drink some more tea for now. Has a lot of Manuka honey in it. I'm gonna drink some water, make some baked tofu. Yes'm. Good. That's awesome. Bicentennial. Palms down or palms up is very different. Do you feel it? Hold and breathe. On the tofu, probably olive oil. Not really sure yet. It's good with a miso broth. Put some miso broth and olive oil. Put it on some wild rice. It's very good. Thank you. It's something we do for our blood flow and circulation. Helps with a lot of things. Plus we just enjoy it also.
you turn the buttons, and you'll feel the different muscles and energy lines being activated and deactivated.